staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box. You think it's that simple?
Yeah, I do.
Welcome back to God Deserves Better, the program dedicated to equipping the saints to create like our Creator. I'm your host, Zach Lovelace.
And I'm your host, Jonathan Laura.
So today we're doing it. We're jumping in and we're asking the big question, is Marty supreme?
Oh, I thought you were about to say good or something at the end of that.
Oh, no. No, is he supreme? Is he supreme?
Getting right into it, no, not supreme.
Oh.
I think it was good. I think it was probably like a 7 out of 10, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, we're going to get into the plot. We're probably going to hit some points, so there are spoilers ahead. So you've been warned.
If you want to know if Marty turns out to be supreme or not.
Sorry, we already said no.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he doesn't. We don't tell you how he doesn't.
The ending was interesting. We'll circle back to that. But I think that it was a interesting movie. It was A24. They did Uncut Gems too, and it was the Safdie brothers who did Uncut Gems. And this is something that I told Zach after we saw the movie, that it was basically Uncut Gems. It felt like the same formula. Like you've got just a string of episodic, high stress moments just strung together to make a story. And that's just not, it's well made. It's a story that keeps you engaged and entertained, but it's not fun, and it's not my cup of tea, to be honest.
I've heard that before with Safdie brother movies, especially, with Uncut Gems, just as what I would think is their best movie that I've seen.
Uncut Gems was better. But
it was better than Marty Supreme. But, I think we need to kind of give it its own shake here before we're like, oh man, this movie, Marty Supreme isn't as good as Uncut Gems. It's a way bigger movie. It's promising way more. It's going places. Uncut Gems, you were with Adam Sandler in New York essentially the entire time.
Yeah.
And so, and
almost feels like it's in real time too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so this is like over the course of months. I mean, months pass at certain times. And so for those who don't know about Marty Supreme, it follows very loosely the story of Marty Reisman, who's the real world ping pong player from the 1950s, who apparently lived in kind of underground circuits, making money with his ability as a ping pong player, hustling and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. It's a cool subculture, cool world, especially the 50s is very interesting to lots of people, but to myself specifically, I think as a period piece, very well executed. The costumes all looked great.
Oh yeah.
I think on a technical level, like you said, we're humming. This is great. But it follows Marty Mauser as kind of a fictionalized version of the real world guy. And that's where you get all the crazy nitroglycerin level stories that you kind of are just following him. I told Johnny afterwards, it felt like a book. It actually felt like a Tarantino movie where it's actually pretty long. Like I didn't expect it to be as long as it was. And it would have actually benefited from some title carding or chaptering like Tarantino does. Tarantino is so up his own butt. He likes to think he's writing a novel. This is on par with literature. And it's like you're writing
like screenplays or whatever. Like
you're writing Pulp Fiction. You're writing yourself into Pulp Fiction so you can say the N word, and it's somehow on par with whatever. But that just seems like it had that breadth to it. It had that size to it. You're following him, not like cradle to grave or anything like that, but just the different scenarios that he's in and the different, like you said, episodic. It's so like he's just does a whole hustling sequence with Tyler, the creator. And again, kind of for those who don't know, Timothée Chalamet is the lead here. He plays the ping pong player. And then you have a supporting cast of like Gwyneth Paltrow, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. Surprisingly did a great job, I think.
A lot of really good cameos. I think that was another Uncut Gems formula thing. Like they had Kevin Garnett and The Weeknd and just some random cameos in Uncut Gems, and that followed here with there's the dude with the golden voice, that one like homeless guy.
I saw that. Yes.
And there was one dude who was also in that little like underground ping pong place, like the old black man. I forget. I don't know what his character name was, but I'm like, I know that guy. Where is he from? But it's an old NBA player, George Gervin, from like the 70s and 80s.
Well, the Safdies love basketball. That's a huge thing. With Uncut Gems, they did a lot of research and like finding the right character like real world person to play the Kevin Garnett version that they got. And they apparently wrote several screenplays versions of like different people.
Wow. That's
and
pretty
so
cool.
like, yeah.
I think
and
that's
I think
actually an interesting thing because there were other people that surprised me. It was, there was Penn from Penn and Teller.
yes, Penn Jillette. Yes.
I thought it was him when he got out of the car, his scene. And then when he got closer, I'm like, oh, that's not him because he had like different colored eyes or something.
Yeah, but he didn't have glasses on. He didn't have his ponytail. You know, he didn't look like. But
I think
it's
a mark of good directing. It's something that you don't really think about is leading your actors and people who are unexperienced actors. And all of these cameos were not distracting and not forced.
Yeah,
and they fit very well. So that's actually very good on was it John Safdie?
It's Josh Safdie.
Josh Safdie.
Yeah, Benny did The Smashing Machine with The Rock, which I didn't see.
I didn't see that either.
You know. Got busy. For those who don't know, a little aside here, had a third
Maybe we should have started with this. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
we've been missing.
Yes.
GDB has been missing, and we thank you for your patience because we do things in the dad hours. We do things in between, you know, just doing it. We're not just single influencer type dudes. Like, you know, we just do our 9 to 5. Thankfully, Johnny and I, you know, work together, so we actually get to talk all the time. But we don't get to get in front of the mic and actually do it. But I've been on paternity leave, and this is actually the very end of it. And so Johnny was like, "Let's go see a movie." And I was like, "It's got to be Marty Supreme." It actually was all my idea to do Marty Supreme.
Idea,
you had no idea what the movie was about. That's true.
But that's congratulations to you, Zach. He has a new baby, and I'm sure he's
life
very
right
tired
now.
right now.
She's like right over there on the other side of the wall. So I gotta be really quiet. No. No. The third baby, you know, it's easy, man. No, it's not easy. My wife knows what she's doing. That's what it is. But no, it's been great. And so this has been great to get back in the saddle with this film actually, and just be like, oh, let's talk shop and, you know, like actually break it down. So anyway, that's for the deep cut fans of the show. If you're listening to this, you know, to get a Christian filmmaker's perspective on maybe a non-lame Christian filmmaker's perspective on cinema. That's kind of GDB in a nutshell, because a lot of people will hear that and be like, "Oh man, you know, I don't know." Yeah. Angel Studios called. No.
The David movie.
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, I hear that stuff's okay, but still. So we went and saw this, and Johnny and I kind of walked out with that same idea of like about 70% on Rotten Tomatoes feeling. It's currently at like a 95 or something.
Whoa, I didn't see that.
I mean, that's what it was this morning when I checked. But no, a great supporting cast. Back to your point about using a bunch of actors and other celebrities, kind of like the non-actor. Josh Safdie nails the non-actor. Yeah. Like incorporating. And apparently that's like kind of in the Safdie DNA. You know, they started out with non-actors doing their films like on the street. With what's the name of the movie? Oh, it's all their movies are about drug addicts or addicts of some kind.
Oh, with Robert Pattinson.
Well, yeah, Good Time, which is my favorite Safdie movie.
Okay.
But no, there was one before that Robert Pattinson saw. That Heaven something. Let me just look it up. Sorry guys, this is so lame. Heaven Knows What. Okay. And it's actually it was based on a girl who was a heroin addict that they knew, and she had written like a memoir, and then they got her to act in it. Oh, wow. She's not an actor or actress. So that kind of, again, is really in their DNA. Robert Pattinson sees like a screenshot of that film and is like, I have to work with these guys. So that's where Good Time comes from. Okay. And they developed a whole character with him. And Benny Safdie is also more of an actor because he's in Good Time. He's in Oppenheimer as one of the scientists. Who cares? Oppenheimer sucked. Actually found Oppenheimer at Goodwill the other day and was just like, like on DVD. I was like, wow. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was like, fast. You think this is weird. I know.
Who would have bought that? You could just stream it.
I know. Whatever.
Anyway, that's good. I mean, I'm all for buying physical copies. So keep doing that. It's just funny that it's Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
If you want to see our full take on Oppenheimer, you can see our ranking of the Nolan filmography. We'll put the link in the description.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
That was.
Back to our Marty Supreme review. I think that another thing about this film was another comparison. You said it's like a Tarantino film. and that's like Uncut Gems. I think another comparison is Catch Me If You Can.
Yes.
Is a nice comparison of just like
I have to pretend to be a doctor now. I have to pretend to be an airline pilot now. Not that he does that.
Charmer, kind of guy, just going through all these different scenarios. So
which is found out later to be very untrue, by the way. Most of the Catch Me If You Can stuff, like the guy just made it up. Classic con man. Yeah, exactly. At least this is forthright a little bit with, you know, that this is completely sensationalized life. Like version of this guy. So
it just felt like, it doesn't feel too original. Like it's original in its own ways, but again, like there's just so many things like it out there that's why we have it so. We don't have it at a 95 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. I would say the ping pong thing, I was expecting more ping pong. Which might be like the normie dad take of like, the marketing is all about ping pong. And then it ends up being like, I would say maybe 30%, maybe 40% of the movie. Where he's just
it's just a plot point for him, just his motivation, I guess.
You don't really even get too into like how the matches are shot. You're not like, it's not like when you do a football movie or a basketball movie where the game itself, like people understand the game enough to sit there and be like, oh, this is what's happening.
There's moments, there's like towards at the end. There's a game
You've
where it's like
learned
you're
enough.
going play by play. But that's really it.
And it's also pretty easy to understand, like ping pong, because it's like tennis. It's like other things too. Anyway, so I liked that. I thought that was actually unique about it. Is that when you were in this, I think at its best was some of the tournament, like that first big tournament scene where he first meets Endo or sees Endo. And that track that plays, whoo, man, the music was so good. Like the score. I know you had some complaints about
just like the pop songs that were in there from like the 70s and 80s and like after the 1950s felt a little weird because the movie takes place in the 50s. Like I think it was Forever Young is like the first song that plays, and that really took me out of the feel of the movie, because like everything before that is like really putting you in the 50s, and then this song plays, and just like,
I actually really like that. I was thinking about that earlier, how I think with Gen Z kind of looking at history that's been given to us post World War consensus, World War II consensus kind of stuff, that you break history, and you just go anachronistic, where it's like, it's just all about the vibe, about the feel, and I hate the word vibe. I wish there was another way. Atmosphere. It's creating atmosphere. So hearing like Forever Young, I've heard that song a million times before this movie, but then seeing the 1950s ping pong period piece with this in it, it's like, whoa, okay, I'm being transported into a very specific vision of the past. And I don't know. I think not all of the needle drops worked, kind of to the Tarantino point where he's needle dropping, pop songs and stuff.
Scorsese does it too a lot.
Yes, the score itself though.
But the score was good.
Was really good. The same guy did Good Time. I think he's done all of their movies. There's this really synthy drop that hits, and it's Endo's theme or when Endo appears or whatever. And I've listened to that several times today, just after having watched the movie last night. It was just so awesome. But yeah, again, on a very technical level, the film is great. Again, a little too long, a little too many episodes, a little too many threads would be my biggest takeaway, would actually be very muddled theme, and then too many subplots. Like the whole Gwyneth Paltrow thing did not need to be in there. All the sex in the movie, obviously, as like Christian filmmakers, we can say not good.
Not needed, even just
not needed at all. I mean, I get in the beginning establishing that he has
there's one right off the bat, which was really weird. You go inside and like the opening, another Uncut Gems formula. You go inside of a human body for the opening credits.
That makes it sound extremely graphic. You see the sperm.
Sorry.
The conception of this child that is Marty's child.
You see the sperm swim up to the egg, but in Uncut Gems, you're like, they got the camera up
during a colonoscopy for Adam Sandler.
So
whatever.
That was a funny parallel.
It is. I mean, it's clearly a safe spot for them, because Ronald Bronstein as well was a co-writer of this, and he's been an actor that's worked with them for a long time. And I guess writer as well that's worked with them for a long time. So that little writing wheelhouse, they grind through it. And to the muddled themes thing, God, because of course, like our big takeaways as a Christian filmmaker, the sex would be the biggest thing. But like theme would also, it's like right there with the sex in terms of like what is really being said here. You know, with Uncut Gems, it's pretty much a tragedy. You know, it's a cautionary tale of like, don't be a degenerate gambler. And, you know, that's basically it. Like, and you just run this crazy adrenaline rush thing, and it's not very pleasant with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
This kind of quest that he's on. And then same with Marty, just trying to get to all of his matches and pay for his way because he thinks he's the best in the world. And we pretty much come to see that he is, which is a little unearned. You know, it's like and I don't mean that like we spend all that runtime, you see him struggling, so he can just be good at table tennis, you know, ping pong.
Like, you mean you don't see him training or anything like that?
No, like I thought about this, like you never really see him sleep. You see him like begging for a bed. You never see him sleep. Not that you really need to, but you know what I mean? Like there's just this like,
I guess,
superhuman quality that he's just going and going and going.
Yeah.
And that's because he's
might
so
be
driven.
purposefully just to make it feel like this guy, you know, he's making me tired just watching him, you know?
Yes.
Kind of thing. But
yes.
Yeah, I could see that. And
So-
just like the lack of like he's good, I guess. Like he has this crazy confidence. We don't see him earn that except for like when the match is happening. I guess you could do like with training, like see how dedicated he is like to it off the court.
The
but
biggest
like off
one-
the court, it's like has nothing to do with ping pong. And just as soon as he's on the court, it's like, oh, this is like, it just all of a sudden is like his main focus when it needs to be.
Yeah. I
So
think
yeah, that is a little weird.
the biggest one would be that first tournament when he beats the previous world class guy, world champion, and he's like, let's have fun with this, and they do like all these trick shots and stuff. That's pretty. I mean, that's earning. Like you're seeing his skill, and that's fun. So I don't
buy
totally
that this guy
retract
is
my point, but
obsessed with ping pong or anything like that, I guess. And maybe that's just like the point. Maybe he's just so good. He's just a master that he just doesn't have to care about it at all. And he's just that good. It's kind of like, I guess, what they're going for.
Yeah, and kind of comparing it again to Uncut Gems, it's like it's not like Adam Sandler is like, I'm good at gambling.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just addicted to
gambling.
it. And he's just, you know, and Marty isn't really addicted to ping pong.
No.
He just needs to know that he's the best. So he has tons of pride.
Yeah.
Is essentially it. And actually, I think wrapping it in a bow, the film is a coming of age story that like doesn't go anywhere for its entire runtime until the last scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, is when he just finally grows up. But it's such a fever dream with him. He's, you know, just trying to do this match with Endo, get this rematch after he gets humiliated and beaten. And he eventually goes and, spoiler alert, finds Endo, reworks all sorts of scenarios and manipulates so many different people to get to Japan to play Endo on his home turf, and then ends up winning. And it's this enormous catharsis for him. It just like totally dropped off from there, which was kind of what it would be in real life. You know, you hear about people, I can't remember who the golfer was who won. I don't know if he won like some sort of big tournament. I'm not a big golf guy, the Masters maybe. But he's just
how
like,
long ago was this?
This was this year, maybe, or last year, where he won. I think he's a Christian, where he's like, and the high of winning faded within 15 minutes.
Wow.
And so that he's just like, I need more important things. I think somebody made an ad out of it where it was like talking about his kids.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. And it kind of is that like, oh, now I know I'm the best in the world at ping pong.
Yeah.
And now what's important now? And then he realizes, and this is like the very first scene, he's, you know, banging some chick in the back room at his store, and you see the sperm connect in the title sequence. And then at the end of the movie, the baby's born. And he realizes like, oh, I have something good back at home. And so he goes back home and makes it work. And so that was nice. And that is kind of like, that is the lesson I would want him. I'm glad it ended that way, as opposed to like an Uncut Gems ending where.
Yeah, this was actually a happy ending compared to Uncut Gems and Good Time and pretty much everything previously. And I've heard the same with Smashing Machine with The Rock. Okay. That it's like similar where, you know, you're kind of with this guy who's UFC fighter and he's trying to, become the best essentially, but then, his body doesn't cooperate, and he has to deal with a lot of pain, and then gets addicted to pain meds and stuff. And, but at the end, like, comes to some sort of realization that, I need help kind of thing. It's not just dying, like Adam Sandler, or like,
it's just the episode's end, kind of thing, like, oh, yeah. But this was a good way of ending it. So yeah, it's a good movie. It's good. It has its flaws. So again, I think a B or a C is what I would give it. Yeah.
Again, the big knocks are going to be, I think, runtime. There's just so much in there that just does not need to be in there. The stuff with the dog didn't make any sense to me. The dog, like, because they did that with Uncut Gems, where you kind of find this like Jewish mafia kind of thing, because the Safdie brothers are Jewish, and so they hire a lot of non-actor Jewish guys to be in their films and play gangsters and stuff. And so one of the guys that gets in the dog episode, he is from the Uncut Gems, like gangsters as well. They double dipped. And so it's like, okay, it bloats it. It bloats it. And it's like, okay, I get it. We get it after a while. That's like, he's going to try and do this XYZ thing, and then it's going to go backwards. And it's not going to work. Like Gwyneth Paltrow is this movie star that he ends up having an affair with, and is trying to basically get money from her or her husband to get her husband to sponsor him and all sorts of stuff. And just one of the minor things is, like, after she does an amazing play, he convinces her to give her like a diamond necklace, or to give him a diamond necklace so he can get to Japan and become the best in the world or whatever. And they immediately go to a park and start fooling around, and they get caught by the cops and have to give up the necklace. It just was like such a whiplashy turn that it's like, you're just trying to sneak this in. The same formula. Yeah, it's like, you can
just
cut that out.
A sex scene.
I mean, yeah, really.
Thank you.
You can cut that out. Yeah. And you can have him just go straight to the party that he was supposed to be at. Yeah. Totally. Because the thing that was more impactful for the character was getting spanked, which I think was one of my favorite moments. He actually, Gwyneth Paltrow has a rich husband who's a CEO of a pen manufacturing company, and he convinces him to help sponsor him and get into table tennis. And so he does, and he ends up going afoul. His pride gets in the way, and he like spits on the deal that the guy wants to make. And then eventually comes crawling back, asking for money. And so eventually they just kind of keep running into each other. He keeps telling him no, till finally they're at a party, and he comes to him and he's like on his hands and knees, and he's like, I'm begging you, like, you're my only way to Japan to be the best. I'll do anything. And he's like, all right, go get your paddle. And then he goes and he's like, I'm going to spank you, and pull down your pants and let me spank you. And it's like, that actually was humiliating. And that's like, the point is pride. Like, he had just so much pride. Yes, it was like, how do you act when you know you're the best in the world at something? Is like maybe one of the themes, and he just continually bullies and confidences his, con-mans his way into things, and is a terrible person. Like, he's just, manipulating Gwyneth Paltrow, stealing from her. There's like a little bit of a cinema rule of, like, you see a character taking care of animals and you're supposed to care for them. Like, halfway through the movie, he gets handed a dog by some Jewish gangster. And it's so harebrained. It's so like Wile E. Coyote, like just all over the map. Yeah. Again, that's runtime. Like, just in one word, runtime is one of the bigger issues here. Like, but you could then, if you cut the runtime down, you actually are lifting the themes up, and it ends up being easier to watch, a little bit more clear. This idea of him crying over seeing his baby at the end. That's the theme, him growing up. Yeah. It's like, he's not really confronted with that as much. Like, he has the pregnant girlfriend following him around for a good bit, helping him out, lying to him. And I thought that was kind of good, like with the fake black eye that she had. But I don't know. It didn't feel like she was asking him to be a dad. There was that one speech that he gave, though, where he's like, I'm not going to settle down. I'm not going to be like with you. You don't have a purpose. I do. And I think Whiplash did that scene better. Like, literally, with Andrew Naiman from Whiplash breaking up with his girlfriend. I think that's a better scene saying that.
Yeah.
But even though the stakes are higher, and it would be easier to write that scene because the stakes are higher because she's pregnant and they're on such a time crunch.
Yeah, I think she really did want him to step up. I think because whenever he was gonna go, like he took her to the hospital because she got a gunshot wound from the whole dog episode, and she was like flipping out that he was gonna leave to go to Japan.
That's true, and then he just does.
And then he
I think
just
people
does,
behind us laughed when he like gets off the plane in Japan because it's just like, yeah, he did that, and it's like,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, and you know he's gonna get there.
Yeah, of course. But that just spoke to like her wanting him there, and then I think it was
that's true. That's true. I think one of the bigger issues, getting specific with the episodes, cutting the dog one entirely, because like it's such a weird thing to
the way
come
it came
up with.
about.
Yeah, and like a dog running away, like, and you just find the farmhouse that he happens to be in, and then it's never explained why this farmer guy's like, no, I don't have your dog. After he literally sees the dog in the house, it's like, why does the guy care that much about the dog?
Yeah,
like it just starts.
Also, just like the bathtub falling down, just like, oh, you just made that happen because you wanted this whole dog episode to happen. It feels like
you made something funny and weird happen, and that's supposed to purchase me believing or kind of continuing to follow and not breaking my suspension of disbelief. Whereas like Penn Jillette being the farmer guy that took the dog, and he's just like, I'm going to shoot your face off the next time I see you. And then
I'm going to make you disappear.
Yeah. The Jewish mobster guys end up there and Penn Jillette, and it's like, okay, they kill each other.
Yeah.
And then Marty can just escape. It's like a little too, okay, perfect. Now I can go to Japan.
Yeah.
I thought about this in the moment where I was like, they thought that her getting shot, the pregnant woman getting shot, his girlfriend getting shot, would purchase them. Like it's the cost of that scene. Like, and that would kind of get you to not think about that both bad guys got shot. Anybody that would have a problem with him, afterwards.
Yeah.
But he didn't care enough about her. Like he wasn't established. He just had gotten done saying, I don't care about you. Like go home. Like their last like big scene together.
Yeah.
So it's like, he is a good guy. It was
just for tension. It was just for a loop in a roller coaster. Same with it gets closed.
So in that way, it feels
meaningless way.
Postmodern in its own way, where it's like we're going to give you tension that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and that was with the thing you just said about the necklace. Like that whole scene just resolves itself like a few minutes later, and you just move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, runtime is the main thing. It's just bloated with tension, unnecessary tension.
Unnecessary, unthematic tension.
Yeah.
Would be.
Which is why Uncut Gems felt not as miserable for me. To sit through. Whereas this one, I think, and I rolled my eyes at one point and took a bathroom break because it was just like it was again the dog storyline where they just like they realize like, oh, they're not going to be able to get a hold of this guy. Like he's not buying it. He's not going to give them the money up front for finding the lost dog. And she's like, oh, like I think I have a friend who owns a kennel or something like that. And I was like, okay, this is.
And then that guy
stupid.
just gets stabbed, and it's like, it just because she tries to pawn a fake dog, not the dog, but it's never established why this dog. Like that story and the mystery of that story starts to just like overshadow everything. So it's like a subplot. It's a really dangerous subplot to make, where it's like you have all of these coincidences happening, or like this stuff that just needs to happen. The writer is just making it happen. So it's this kind of crazy scene. I liked much better. I wanted more Tyler, the creator.
Yeah, he was really good.
He was
those
really
non-actors
good.
really punching hard.
Totally. And him, that dynamic between the two of them was fun. Yeah. And I would rather have seen like one night of them trying to make $10,000 or something crazy, in underground hustling, even though the hustling actually, they kind of glaze over it. Like it doesn't.
There's a dedicated, what would have been a chapter title card. For in a Tarantino film for it.
Yes.
But that was it.
And which the dog is like vaguely part of it or whatever. But it's like there's so many specific details given to the dog thing, where it's like the Jewish guy that comes into the kind of seedy hotel that gets the tub dropped on him. The dog and him really stink. Like they spend like a bunch of dialogue.
He crapped himself, the dog, because he was sick. And I think
and it's like to get him to the vet.
Yeah.
But it's like even that, it's like, I don't know if that's what it is. Cause then they're like, oh, you stink too, I guess, cause the dog pooped on him, whatever. Yeah. But it's like that whole thing, which I guess feels like a lived in character, maybe might be the way that Josh Safdie and Ronald Bronstein like sold it to themselves, is like, by making it so hyper specific, it feels very lived in and textured. But it starts like you pile those things on top of each other so many times, and it starts to become just distractions. And it's very like ADHD kind of. We're gonna just throw this in here, and the guys behind us in the theater were eating it all up.
Oh yeah,
like when the tub fell through, they were just oh no, they were like laughing so hard, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I cracked a smile a couple of times, like and I appreciate some good, witty back and forth dialogue.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
some good racist jokes in there,
There were, and actually to that point, and this is where we're kind of get into some interesting like 2025 type culture things, where this film felt Jewish, like in your face, but not for any point. So I guess the point then becomes just to kind of like the whole Holocaust honey thing, where the world champion guy that he recently beat, he was good friends with him, and he pals around Europe with the Harlem Globetrotters, which apparently is like a real thing, one of the real true thing. And I wanted to see more of that, where like he's playing a sea lion. Yeah. Marty's playing a sea lion in ping pong. They're playing on a tiny table. And he previously had said this would be super humiliating. And it's like, I want to see that. Like, it was really well executed and really interesting. The great title cards of like where they're at. They go to the pyramids and stuff. He chips off a piece of one of the pyramids and gives it to his mom. And he's like, we made this.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you're pulling on your Jewishness. Yeah. Like here it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. So is that why you think you're the best? And then he has a whole thing about being like Hitler's worst nightmare or whatever, of being the best at something, I guess, and being Jewish. And I don't know. Then he gets dominated by a Japanese guy.
Like, I'm to the guy who was facing survived Auschwitz.
Oh
yeah.
Like,
I'm going to finish what Hitler started. Or something like
that was great. That was great. And there was a line that he like is trying to take more money from Tyler, the creator, and Tyler's like, you Jew, you're being a greedy Jew right now. Yeah. So it seemed like kind of aware of itself in that, and it seemed in the kind of post-racial America, like everybody's kind of aware, everybody's kind of racist about each other, but we're friends. We have these other things, these kind of secular things, ping pong that brings us together. But it's so serious that it's like, we built this. Here, Mom, here's a chunk of the pyramid. Doesn't he know aliens built the pyramid? Come on.
The Nephilim.
The Nephilim.
Yeah.
And he's, when Marty goes full Nephilim, that's why he's Marty Supreme. When he goes full Nephilim, that actually,
that makes sense.
I liked that part of the movie. But whatever. So it for as crazy and harebrained as this interview has been, like that's the movie. Like you're hooked to a car battery the whole time, and you're just running. And so I enjoyed it. Like you said, it is well executed, but I would have to ding it. I would want to see a different edit. We talked about this. Like you could edit out a lot of this. I don't know who Josh Safdie was palling around with producing wise. Timothée Chalamet produced it for one. So I don't know if they just threw star power at it. But just being able to get that much of the film in there, kind of uncut gems, this is going to be an uncut gem. That didn't see any real editing in terms of a lot of but at the same time, things get like totally the short end of the stick, like the relationship with the pregnant woman, Rachel, and then Gwyneth Paltrow's character just kind of like dies off screen. Like she becomes totally irrelevant.
She doesn't, die off screen. She
doesn't die. I'm just saying like thematic engine, the fuel that she was providing, that he was like trying to get this
like a
necklace from her.
Seinfeld C plot just ends, and
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yes. It's just like he tries to find her. She's like crying at the party and you don't know why. And like in a private room with other women, and like, it's not a good time. And so then he's just like, okay.
You never get a clue as to what the reason could be. And then he goes and
just like
spanked.
walks away. Yeah. I don't know. And then he goes and finds the husband anyway, who said like, I'm never giving you money. And he's like, I'll let you spank me to give me money. And it's like, okay, you're short ending some sticks.
No, I think they just wanted to get more Gwyneth Paltrow and some sex scene in there.
She was not very good in the movie. That. Her face looked like I don't know, like it was carved out of wood.
Yeah. The age is showing.
Yeah. And
it apparently
not really
was like
though, but not really.
It's the first like non-Marvel movie she's been in like a long time.
I thought about that.
Yeah.
I thought about that.
She's only been in like Iron Man and Avengers.
Yeah. And to see her be like alongside someone, her contemporary, like Robert Downey Jr., and then be like making out and doing sex scenes with Timothée Chalamet made me like really feel bad and weird for Timothée Chalamet. Like he just feels like he's being used around Hollywood, where it's just like, oh, we're gonna make a scene where this older actress gets to do this stuff with him. I don't know.
Is he having a ton of like intimate scenes lately? I'm not. I don't watch.
I don't know. I don't track him that
know.
hard, but I know that, especially the "Call Me by Your Name," that was the whole gay movie thing with him and Armie Hammer, certified cannibal Armie Hammer. That's a whole thing.
Yeah. It's another GDP episode.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so yeah, I would say if you're a cinema head and you love the Lord, probably miss this. You know, or if you go, just know you're going into some sex stuff being there. There's never any nudity.
They don't show
there's never any nudity.
But it's heavy. I mean, like there's thrusting and all that stuff. But you don't see any body parts except for Timothée Chalamet's butt when it gets spanked.
That's fair. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. But that felt earned as much as one can earn.
It wasn't sexual. It was a non-sexual
because
spanking.
He's so prideful. But I'm sure they used a butt double.
No, I don't think they did. I was looking at
You confirmed it?
No, I did. No, I was reading the trivia on IMDb, and apparently like they wanted to, and Timothée was like,
reading the trivia.
No, I'm a real actor, guys. It's got to be the real thing.
Yeah.
Don't hold back. Like legit, that's what he did. So
Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank spanked me as hard as he possibly could.
It was a funny thing we said on the after the movie is like it's an A24 movie with ping pong. Someone's gonna get spanked with a paddle.
Yes. You have to find the most perverted, like demented thing, and it's like, okay, what has to happen because we're A24.
Yeah.
So can you make somebody getting spanked with the paddle? Can you make that happen, Josh Safdie? Oh yeah, I can make that happen. It's not that hard.
Right away. Yeah.
Yeah. Lickety split. That was the first scene that I wrote. I didn't even know who the characters were when I wrote that scene. Please take me to Tokyo. Please. It's like, anyway.
We wrote this whole movie around this scene.
Yeah, clearly. Clearly you did. But no, I appreciate the movie kind of going into some more positives here, or whatever. It being for some of the marketing, I think it's actually kind of penetrated some of the post-cinema behaviors that like younger generations have, with Timothée Chalamet being, the guys behind us. If you looked at the crowd, it was like cinema heads. It was film buff guys that were there to see that. So guys that like the Safdie brothers were there. And then guys that like Timothée Chalamet and like want to be him. We talked about this. Like we know a guy, Johnny and I both know a mutual friend of ours that were like his Marty Mauser, that character reminded us of, and a Gen Z guy too. So it's like, okay, that's interesting that they did accurately tap into that. And I heard another reviewer say something about how the film is really tapping into Gen Z because Gen Z's inheriting a world that they can't really get behind. They hate everything because it's all corrupt and bad and whatnot, and they can't own a home, all this kind of stuff. Very true, very valid. And so it's about like making your mark any way that you can. Like you don't listen to anybody, and you just like, no matter what, you're going for it. It's like, okay, that's a relatable message you made that very odd character relatable to people who, again, don't care about the history. So it's not about that. It's not about being,
I guess, to your
accurate.
point with like the pop music and everything. Yeah. It's just selling the vibe. Yeah.
I give it props to that. They really had Timothée Chalamet at the forefront of the marketing for this film. Just having been on Instagram, he's all up in there with reels and all sorts of stuff, doing lives and whatnot, talking about this movie. Which, every movie does nowadays. Like they do run campaigns, but it felt more effective. It felt more penetrative. Like I understood.
Oh yeah. My wife was singing ads about it before I was. So, Yeah. It's getting out there.
The big orange Nickelodeon blimp that they had, saying Marty Supreme, like flying around LA or whatever.
That's
he picked
funny.
out that orange. That was one of the clips that I remember. He's like, I worked with my graphic designer friend for like 6 months picking out this orange. It's like,
6 months.
It was something stupid like that. It was something really, whatever. But I don't like Timothée Chalamet. Like I see him in a movie, it's kind of like seeing Zendaya. I'm like, okay, oversaturated, or just like you're the new Leo. I know all your tricks. Like you're not really showing me anything new. You can cry really good, I'm not blown away by any character, but I saw this and was like, I like that character. That's interesting, that world, and I was able to hold my nose to get into it.
Yeah, it worked.
So again, effective marketing.
Yeah.
And I like the Safdie brothers. I'm like interested in them, want to watch their movies. Apparently not Benny Safdie enough. I don't like The Rock either. No, that's the other thing. It's like if you look at both of their movies, they kind of seem like they were cooked up in a lab, where it's like, okay, you could make a movie with a big star, and you think about 2 years ago when they would have started this, or even more if they were writing it longer. It's like, okay, The Rock. Like I would want to do a movie. Let's do a serious movie with The Rock. That sells to cinema heads because it's like, oh yeah, I've not seen him do that. Like he's just doing trash, and we all kind of know that arc with like, Robin Williams, even Brendan Fraser to some degree, like redemption arcs to some degree, or like a reinvention kind of arc. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Timothée Chalamet is on his like, he has said this with his SAG win last year with the A Complete Unknown Bob Dylan movie. That he's like wants to be one of the best actors in the world. That's like one of his huge goals, and he's very driven by that. And so that almost feels like proto marketing for this film for Marty Supreme, where it's like he's kind of playing a more prideful version of himself to get clicks and get people interested, and then goes from there.
Playing the long game, 3D
But I also
chess,
believe that he wants to be the best. I think that's kind of a safe
I think so too.
lane culturally to
it's the Leo
occupy. Post woke, post politically correct, like it's a little smash mouthy Trump almost, where it's like unapologetic. I'm just trying to be the best. I am the best.
We're starving for some unfiltered, takes. So
and to have somebody who's unabashedly trying to go for excellence, which is something that at God Deserves Better, our podcast is based on. Like excellence in craft is a huge thing, and it glorifies the Lord. So I would want some of that energy. I wouldn't want it to be so prideful, right? But some of that is like, it's kayfabe. It's like wrestling. He's playing the heel on purpose. And that's part of even Marty Supreme, like that he didn't want to do. He couldn't really understand that. He's like, I want to be the best. I don't want to just be paid to take a dive. And, I think Kevin O'Leary's character's like, you can make a whole career. Like sometimes the guy that loses, like you can win way more by losing, by being the heel. To Endo, the Japanese guy's kind of national hero within Japan. It's like if you come in and you are this American cocky guy, like you can actually, by being the villain, essentially, that's cool. That was interesting enough. I think one of, or an interesting kind of part of the
wish they could have like explored that a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite part of the whole movie was the fake Japanese reels explaining Endo's background. So the bad guy.
That's kind of cool.
Him being deaf, and he's actually a deaf ping pong player. Like that guy's an actual ping pong player.
Like a real person in history. That was a real person.
No. That guy that played him.
Oh, okay.
That actor, again, a non-actor.
Oh, he's actually a deaf actor.
And a deaf ping pong player. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's like written around him.
That's pretty
cool.
And
so that felt really cool learning that after the fact. And they had these newsreels talking about it and whatnot, that he lost his hearing in like the bombing of Tokyo. It's like, that's cool. That's actually, that feels relevant because everyone is talking about Hitler and, World War II and the post-war consensus stuff. Like that's where I was saying before about it kind of not really caring about if history is accurate, going and taking this ping pong player's life and kind of blowing it up. But there was a real Japanese guy that did beat like the British head of like the world champion in ping pong back in the 50s too.
So it's kind of loosely based on that.
Yeah. So they kind of combined that guy's story, which I thought was cool. And he did great. Like I believed him.
Yeah.
And his
didn't need to do a ton. Yeah.
Posture. Yeah, it's fair. His posture and everything was very good. A good counter to Marty just being so, crazy. So that's Marty Supreme.
Yeah.
And that's kind of our take on it. So if you want to check it out, please do. We have several other reviews on like
Yeah,
GDB
we've done
review
some
specific films?
Films that didn't even like just released, but like films from the past. We did the original Godzilla.
Whiplash.
Whiplash we've done, yeah. Some good ones. So
Civil War,
and some not so good ones.
yeah.
So,
yeah. Johnny and I have a terrible batting average for seeing movies together.
Yeah.
This is the best movie we've seen together in the theater.
They're all A24 films too, I think.
I know. Well, what else is there to see, you know?
Yeah, post 2020, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Actually, the
either
last
Nolan
film I saw
or A24.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I'm kind of set up to be disappointed either way. But the last film I saw before COVID, the last film I saw before COVID was Uncut Gems. And so it kind of feels like an interesting bookend. Yeah, I feel something crazy is going to happen next year. That's what's going to happen. But anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out Marty Supreme if you kind of don't vibe with everything we're saying. If you can stomach it, you know, you're forewarned and whatnot. I think you can learn a lot in terms of writing by some of the bad example, again, for the runtime issues and some of the theme issues. But you can learn a lot on directing actors and non-actors, especially as like a low-level, no-budget filmmaker. You're going to have more access to non-actors than actual actors. Yeah. And so that's somewhat of an inspiration to see some of this stuff be brought to life believably. You know, it's just like tapping into that. So there's a lot to be gleaned from it. But in terms of like what it is presented to be as a film, you know, probably like a 70%. So with that, any other thoughts, Johnny?
I wanted to say, I was going to blurt in when you were saying about if we could go see it, if you can stomach it. This is a movie for a stronger brother, I would say. Again, back to the sex stuff. And that's probably something we should just put anytime we review a film, if we are recommending it. That if this is an area of, you know, seeing a sex scene is going to cause you to stumble, please don't see it. We do not recommend it. Strong brothers only. So yeah,
that's fair. So yeah, in terms of trigger warning ahead of time, you know, we went and saw Marty Supreme and kind of knew what we were getting into ahead of time, but there's also, it's hard because like nowadays you want to go in blind a little bit on some things because things are so over marketed. And so none of the marketing really had that in it, even though it was super marketed.
With IMDb, you can see like why it's rated what it is. And it has like several categories like drugs and alcohol, violence, sex and nudity, language, whatever. And it gives like a score based on each of those. And this one had like an intense on the sex thing. So, and it'll give you a description, a spoiler-free description of like what you're going to see. But yeah, so I recommend that as a Christian.
A great tool
for those, as a Christian film lover.
Yes. Amen to that. So as always, thank you for listening. Now let's get out there and work heartily for our good and gracious God, the Redeemer of men.
Amen.